Welcome to our winter book club. For this book club, we chose The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. We really like this book because it talks about our behaviors and biases about money in short stories that are easy to digest. Everyone is impacted by money, and every one of us spend a lot of time thinking about money and our finances. But it's curious that collectively, we're not getting better at investing. Housel thinks this is because we think and are taught about money too much like physics and math, and not enough like psychology with emotions and nuances. This book makes us think about our irrational biases about money, how wealth and greed affect our finances. Kimberly, what did you think of the book?
I think that's why I really love this book, because investing and managing wealth goes far beyond just numbers. And I think we've talked about it many times, how a large part of our job is to support our clients through the emotional roller coaster ride that goes along with investing. So today we wanted to talk about some of the chapters that really resonated with us. So the chapter that really hit home for me was Never Enough. And it's all about getting the goalpost to stop moving. I think in life, as it is in investing, when is it enough? We always want more things, more success, more money. When we buy our new house, we're super excited and it's a huge achievement. But then we look around us at our circle of friends who have larger houses or maybe even multiple houses. And I think it's this constant social comparison that never stops, and there's always going to be someone with just more than us. Mika, what was your favorite chapter?
My favorite chapter was Compounding. I'm going to read you the subtitle. 81.5 billion of Warren Buffett's 84.5 billion net worth came after his 65th birthday. Let's let that sink in for a bit. This is remarkable. When we talk about Warren Buffett, we only talk about his investment philosophy, his research acumen, and his ability to pick stocks that will do well over the long term. But we never talk about his real success factor, and that is longevity. He's had 80-year time horizon. If Warren Buffett retired like most people in his 60s, he would have retired with a couple $1 billion, and he would be another unknown rich person that we've never heard of. The concept of compounding isn't a hard one. Even the math is simple. Compounding is earning interest on your principal. That interest gets added to your principal and you make more interest, and it goes on. But it takes such a long time, the power of it is not felt. And it's almost counterintuitive because it actually takes so long to play out that in the end you even forget that it played a part. If we think about Warren Buffett's example again, if he had 50-year investment time horizon, we wouldn't know him to be one of the most successful, if not the successful investor in the world. When I tell my clients that they have to measure their investment success over decades, it's not met with enthusiasm, as you can imagine. But investing successfully takes longevity and endurance.
I think that's a great segue about compounding into another chapter that he wrote, which is all about getting wealthy and staying wealthy. Good investing is not necessarily about making good decisions. It's about consistently not screwing up. I think it's coincidentally, Housel actually used Jesse Livermore as an example, and we chose that for our first book club. Jesse Livermore was someone who became the richest person in the world as he shorted the market right before the Great Depression. The richest person in the world. And in just 4 years, he lost it all because he took on bigger bets and more risks. So getting wealthy, it's all about taking on risk, having a concentrated position. And staying wealthy is all about survival, staying in the market through the ups and the downs, diversifying and reducing your risk. And like you mentioned, it's all about compounding and a longer time horizon.
I agree. And speaking of wealth, The next chapter I wanted to talk about is Wealth is What You Don't See, and I'm going to read you the subtitle on this one as well. Spending money to show people how much money you have is the fastest way to have less money. This just says it all. So my husband showed me this YouTube video of an abandoned mansion. This house is 11 bedrooms and 13 bathrooms. It has the marble floors, the grand staircase, indoor pool. In the closets, there are countless luxury brand items like clothes, handbags, and shoes. There are even luxury vehicles, new luxury vehicles in the garage, abandoned. The story of this house: a successful surgeon built and lived there with his family. One day he was flying his private plane and crashed it and unfortunately passed away. Turns out this house was worth $10 million and he had $8 million in mortgage balance. His surviving family, with his stay-at-home wife and young children, couldn't make the payments, and bank seized the property, and it's been abandoned for over 6 years. This is a classic example of someone living beyond their means. This is such a sensitive topic that I have to talk to some of our clients about. Many of our clients have the wealth level that most people will ever accumulate in their lifetime. And yet, it's surprising how many times I have to have this conversation where if they spend the way they spend, they will run out of money. Wealth truly is what you don't see and what you don't spend. And building wealth takes restraint.
I think talking about building wealth, it's a good pivot to the chapter I want to discuss, about nothing's free. And I thought he had a really great way of explaining market volatility as really just a fee to be paid. And nothing worthwhile in life is free. And the same goes with investing. The more risks you take, the greater wealth that you can build in the market. But you're going to have to experience more volatility to do so. I had a client that made his fortune by selling his business. And now that money was just sitting there being passively invested in the stock market. So to him, investing in the stock market felt like a free ride. However, after a while, he realized it wasn't so free after all. The fee to be paid in business success is long hours and hard work, while the fee to be paid investing is volatility and uncertainty and a long time horizon.
The next chapter I want to talk about is you and me. This chapter is about being cautious when taking advice from others because everyone's situation is different and they have different objectives. A few years ago, when cannabis stocks were very popular, quite a few clients came through the door saying that they invested in cannabis and their portfolio grew. A lot of people made a lot of money in cannabis stocks at the time, but they ended up losing most of it in the end. In one particular case, I had this prospect client come in who had invested all his retirement savings into this one cannabis stock. He did it because he got a stock tip from a day trader friend. His portfolio had gone up threefold and there was no convincing him to sell his position or even to reduce it. And you can imagine what happened. He lost most of his retirement savings because this cannabis stock went down dramatically. There's always a convincing friend or a compelling opportunity that you can't forego. But Hausel's advice is a good one: to spend time to figure out what game you're playing and stay disciplined.
That's a really great point. And I think just to wrap it up, at the end of his book, Hausel talked about holding on to more money than he actually needed. And I started laughing out loud when I read that because I do exactly the same. We're investment professionals, we've been advising clients for 15 years and over, so we're supposed to be experts in the field. Yet I hold on to significantly more cash than I may need, and I know it could be better deployed in the market. And yet my background, with my family being new immigrants into the country, we really struggled with money in the beginning. There wasn't a safety net. There was no emergency resources to lean on. So for me, it feels a lot more comfortable holding on to that cash because it really allows me to sleep at night knowing I have that safety net in place.
Thanks for sharing that. And for what it's worth, I don't think it's a bad thing to hold more cash than you need. I actually advise clients to do that. When it comes to money, I think we all have a lot of quirks. I certainly have mine. One thing I can't shake is ordering more stuff than I need to qualify for free shipping. And I have to confess to our clients that I don't look at my personal portfolio when markets are down. It's really painful to look at our clients' portfolios going down, let alone my own, and I don't need to add to that. And when I tell my clients this, they're so surprised. You do this for a living. Understanding the volatility of the markets intellectually doesn't mean it's going to change how I feel about it.
Although I think it's a great perspective to actually ignore what's going on in the market day to day, because we've kind of spent this time talking about compounding and long time horizon. So it's probably the best thing for you to actually forget about it and don't look at your returns every day. Even when we have all the technical expertise, like you and I, we still have behavior that borders on irrational thinking. So I think it's really important that we give ourselves some grace when we uncover these biases, but still challenge ourselves to think differently. We hope you enjoy this book and it gets you thinking about and challenging some of your biases.